Welcome to our channel, Book by Book. Today, we're looking at a truly foundational book, one that feels maybe even more relevant now than when it was written. It's First Things First by Stephen Covey, Roger Merrill, and Rebecca Merrill.
Yeah, and if you've ever felt that modern kind of exhaustion,
Yeah.
you're busy all day, checking things off, hitting notifications, but the weekends and you just feel like, wow, I didn't actually move forward on what really matters. Well, this summary is definitely for you.
Right. Covey had such a great term for it, busy emptiness. It's this feeling that we're super efficient, maybe, but also fundamentally kind of uneasy. We're moving fast, but maybe, just maybe, in the completely wrong direction.
Exactly. And the whole book is really a challenge to, typical time management thinking.
Hmm.
It's not about cramming more tasks in. It's about a huge shift in perspective, moving from just managing time to actually managing yourself based on what truly matters, your purpose, your values.
So our goal here is to unpack that shift. We're moving from asking, how can I do more stuff, to the much harder but way more important question, what's the most important thing? Because the core idea sounds simple, right? Put first things first.
Sounds simple, but doing it consistently, that's the challenge. It takes specific tools and, honestly, quite a bit of courage.
Okay, so let's dig into the first big lesson. This requires a real shift in how we even think about getting things done. It's this fundamental difference between efficiency and effectiveness.
That's it. Efficiency feels good,
Yeah.
doing things right, optimizing a process, clearing the inbox fast. But effectiveness, that's about doing the right things to begin with. You can be the world's most efficient filer of unimportant papers.
Right, which leads straight back to that busy emptiness. You're productive, but on stuff that ultimately doesn't matter.
And to help us focus on effectiveness, they give us this brilliant metaphor, the clock versus the compass. The clock is easy. It's schedules, appointments, deadlines, speed, all the urgent stuff that yells at us.
But the compass, that's internal. That's your values, your vision, your principles, integrity, contribution, relationships. Things that don't usually have a deadline attached.
And if the clock is always shouting louder, it just drowns out the compass. You lose your direction.
It's like that ship analogy they use, isn't it? You can have
Yeah.
this perfectly efficient engine running flat out, but if you've thrown the compass overboard,
Yeah, you're making great time, but uh-oh, you're headed for completely the wrong shore.
and we make this choice constantly, don't we?
Every day. The book gives the example. You might feel super productive clearing 50 emails, right?
Yeah.
Clock-driven stuff. But if doing that means you skipped a really important, maybe slightly uncomfortable conversation with a team member or your kid,
You chose efficiency, ticking the box, over true effectiveness, which was nurturing that relationship.
precisely. Choosing importance over mere urgency.
Okay, but let's be real. Sometimes the office is on fire. Focusing on some big picture compass thing can feel, well, irresponsible when there's a crisis right now. How do you manage that pull?
That's a huge point, and it's where the structure Covey provides becomes so critical. You need a framework to see where your time is actually going. This leads us straight into the cornerstone idea, the time management matrix.
The 4 quadrants. Okay, let's break that down. So everything we do fits into one of 4 boxes based on 2 factors.
Is it urgent and is it important? Exactly. So Quadrant Lab is urgent and important. These are your genuine crises, looming deadlines, major problems that just popped up. You have to deal with them. But living here, that's constant firefighting, stressful.
Got it. Then there's the trap, quadrant 3.
Ah, yes. Quadrant 3 is urgent, but not important. This is the zone of deception. Back then, Covey talked about interruptions, pointless meetings, some mail. Today, it's the endless notifications, the constant urgent requests that aren't actually important to your goals.
It feels important because it's demanding attention right now.
Precisely. It masquerades as productive work.
And then quadrant 4 is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, not urgent and not important. This is, mindless scrolling, binge-watching stuff you don't even care about, busy work that achieves nothing, just pure time wasting.
So the core problem, as Covey sees it, is that most of us are bouncing between the stress of quadrant 1 and the distractions of quadrant 3. We're just constantly reacting.
Exactly. But the magic, the place where real effectiveness happens, is Quadrant 2.
Okay, quadrant 2, that's not urgent, but important.
This is the zone. This is where long-term success, personal growth, strong relationships, and, frankly, peace of mind are built.
So what kind of activities live here?
Think about proactive things. Strategic planning, building relationships before they become problems, exercise, learning new skills, setting up systems to prevent crises, taking time for genuine renewal.
The stuff that's easy to put off, basically, because it's not screaming at you today.
Bingo. There's no immediate deadline for planning your next 5 years or having a deep conversation with your partner or going for a run, so we push it off.
But the insight is, neglecting Q2 is actually what causes the fires in Q1 down the road.
That's the crucial link. If you skip the Q2 strategic planning, eventually you hit a Q1 crisis. If you don't invest Q2 time in maintaining equipment, eventually it breaks down in a Q1 emergency. If you don't spend Q2 time building trust with your team.
You end up micromanaging Q1 problems later. Okay, I see it. So investing in Q2 is fundamentally proactive. It prevents future urgency.
It's the antidote to living in reaction mode.
It sounds great, but I can imagine someone thinking, okay, but when my inbox is overflowing, taking 2 hours for strategic thinking feels like I'm slacking off. There's a guilt factor, right?
Oh, absolutely. It requires a deep faith in the process. And to build that confidence, you first need to be really clear on what those important, non-urgent things actually are for you personally. Which brings us to lesson 3. Begin with the end in mind.
Ah, the funeral exercise. That one's powerful.
It really is. Covey asks you to genuinely imagine your own funeral. What would you want people, your family, friends, colleagues, to honestly say about who you were, what you stood for, the impact you had?
And when you do that, things like your job title or how quickly you answered emails, they tend to fade away, don't they?
Completely.
Yeah.
What usually comes to the surface are things like integrity, kindness, the quality of your relationships, the contributions you made. Those are often our true first things.
So that exercise helps you identify your core values, your deep down priorities.
Exactly. And once you have a clearer sense of those, the next step is to articulate them, to build your personal mission statement.
Okay, so this isn't just some corporate jargon thing. It's like a personal constitution.
That's a great way to put it. It's a clear, written declaration of your purpose and values. It acts like your personal compass, your North Star for making decisions.
So if a new opportunity comes up, you can actually hold it up against your mission statement and ask, does this align? Does this help me move toward that end in mind?
Precisely. It gives you a filter. If your mission is about, say, fostering deep connections and creative growth, maybe that high-paying but soul-crushing job offer doesn't actually fit, even if it looks good on paper.
It helps you live proactively, making sure your daily actions are actually building towards that bigger picture. You're leading your life, not just reacting to it.
That's the goal. Coherence. Living intentionally.
Okay, I get the philosophy. Identify your first things via your mission, but then Monday morning hits. How do you translate that high-level vision into, what you actually do this week? What's the practical tool?
Right. Bridging that gap is key. And that's lesson 4, the weekly compass. This is Covey's practical planning tool, and it's designed to replace those endless, often guilt-ridden daily to-do lists.
How does it work differently?
Instead of just listing tasks, you structure your week around your key roles. What are the most important hats you wear in life?
Like maybe parent, team leader, individual, community member, that kind of thing.
Exactly. You identify maybe 4 to 7 key roles. Then for each role, you ask, what's the most important Quadrant 2 thing I can do in this role this week?
Ah, so you're proactively scheduling the important, non-urgent stuff first based on your core responsibilities.
Yes. And you aim for just 1 or 2 key Q2 goals per role for the whole week. Maybe for parent, it's have focused one-on-one time with each kid. For team leader, it might be block time to mentor Sarah on the new project. For individual, maybe schedule 3 workouts.
And then you put those Q2 goals into your schedule first, like block out actual time for them.
That's the crucial step. You schedule those big rocks, your priorities, before the week even starts. Then you fit the other tasks, the pebbles and sand, around them. This flips the usual approach on its head.
It reminds me of that quote, something like, don't prioritize your schedule.
Schedule your priorities. That's the essence of it. You're letting your compass, your values and roles dictate how you allocate your time, not just letting the urgent clock run the show.
Okay, that makes sense. But doing this requires something else, something that feels really hard sometimes.
Ah, yes. Lesson 5. The gatekeeper of Quadrant 2, the courage to say no.
This is where it gets tough, right? Saying no to requests, even good opportunities, feels like letting people down.
It does. But Covey forces us to recognize a simple truth. Every time you say yes to something, you are simultaneously saying no to something else. There's always an opportunity cost.
So saying yes to that last-minute meeting request that isn't really aligned with your goals might mean saying no to the Q2 planning time you scheduled, or no to getting home for dinner with your family.
Exactly. You have to ask yourself, is this request aligned with my mission? Does it serve one of my key roles and Q2 goals for the week? If the answer is no, you need the courage to decline, politely but firmly.
It's not about being unhelpful. It's about protecting what you've already decided is most important.
Precisely. You're protecting your first things. It requires pausing before automatically saying yes, taking a breath, evaluating against your compass.
That connects to the jar analogy, doesn't it?
Perfectly. Your life, your week is like a big empty jar. If you pour in the sand, first the trivial stuff, Q4, and then the pebbles, the urgent but less important tasks, Q3, you'll find there's no room left for the big rocks.
The big rocks being your Q2 priorities, your first things.
Right. You have to put the big rocks in the jar first, schedule those Q2 activities. Then the pebbles and sand can filter in around them. There's usually room, but only if the priorities go in first.
Okay, so we're focusing on Q2, scheduling priorities, saying no. But how do we keep this up? It sounds intense. How do we avoid burnout?
Great question. That leads to lesson 6, which is all about sustainability.
Okay.
The PPC balance.
PNTC, what do those stand for?
P is for production, the actual results, the output you get.
Yeah.
Think golden eggs. PC is for production capability, maintaining and enhancing the asset that produces those results. Think the goose.
Ah, the goose and the golden egg fable. So PC is about taking care of the goose yourself, your health, your skills, your relationships, the tools you use.
Exactly. You can push really hard for P, for short-term results, by sacrificing PC, skipping sleep, neglecting relationships, not maintaining equipment, never learning anything new.
But eventually the goose gets sick, right? Your production capability drops, and then the golden eggs stop altogether. Burnout.
Precisely. Sustainable effectiveness requires balancing P and PC. You need to produce, yes, but you also need to invest in your ability to keep producing long-term. That means scheduling Q2 time for renewal, learning, health, relationships, maintaining the goose.
That makes so much sense. It's not just about doing more. It's about being able to keep doing what matters.
And this isn't just personal, is it? Lesson 7 touches on how this applies to teams and organizations, too.
Right. Leaders who focus only on urgent P results create stressful, reactive environments.
But leaders who understand Quadrant II thinking and PPC balance empower their teams. They focus on shared mission, aligning everyone with principles, trusting people to manage themselves towards important goals rather than just reacting to urgent demands. It fosters interdependence and long-term success.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the core message of First Things First is this major shift away from living by the urgent clock.
And towards navigating by your internal compass, moving from constantly reacting to proactively creating a life aligned with your deepest values.
It's simple to understand, but definitely not easy to do.
Definitely not. It takes conscious effort and practice. So maybe we can boil down the most critical actions someone listening could take, like this week.
Good idea. What are the absolute must-dos to start putting this into practice?
Okay, I'd say number 1, take 30 minutes, maybe this weekend, and actually define your key roles. Just list them out. Then, for each role, identify just one important Q2 goal for the upcoming week. What's one proactive thing you can do?
Okay, define roles, set one Q2 goal per role. What's next?
Number 2, schedule your biggest big rock. Look at that Q2 list you just made. Pick the most impactful one, estimate the time it needs, maybe 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours, and put it in your calendar now for next week. Treat it like an unbreakable appointment.
Schedule a key Q2 activity before the week starts. Got it. And third,
Practice the no. Identify one thing you typically say yes to that is really a Q3 distraction or someone else's poor planning. And for this week, practice politely declining or renegotiating it to protect your Q2 time. Just one thing.
define roles and Q2 goals. Schedule a big rock. Practice one no. That feels manageable.
It's a start. And Covey's ultimate challenge, the quote that really sums it all up is, "What matters most must never be at the mercy of what matters least." It's about finding the courage to live that out.
To truly lead your life, not just be swept along by urgency, a powerful message.
Absolutely.
Well, if this summary of First Things First has helped you think about your own priorities and maybe nudged you towards spending more time in Quadrant 2, we'd love it if you'd subscribe to our channel, Book by Book.
Yeah, subscribing means you won't miss out on more helpful book summaries like this one. And please do give this deep dive a like and share it with anyone else you think might find it valuable.
It really does motivate us to keep digging into these impactful books and bring you the best insights. Thanks for listening.